What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel for another Wednesday word. And today, just want to start it off and let y'all know that it's just gonna be three main thoughts or points that have really been like repeating themselves over and over from Sunday to now, which has literally blown my mind because it was everything that I had been thinking starting, I think, Saturday evening. And from, like I said, Sunday to now, it's just been the constant encouragement, the constant word, a constant message over and over. So today's video is just going to be my thoughts on this past week. So number one, one of the common things that I've been seeing and reading even today in my devotional on the Bible app that I read every day was pray for your enemies. And I kept seeing this over and over after a slight little conversation that I had with a friend over the weekend, and something that he had said kind of put me into this I wasn't in my feelings. I wasn't super upset or mad, but I was just it was just hearing this information or hearing what he had said made me be one, because I didn't like it, and then it was just another part of me was just I don't want to always be this way. Lord, why do I have this much ill will or feeling towards this particular person every time that I hear this person's name or something is brought up? And the Lord was really dealing with me with that, because then once I, like I said, had that conversation on Saturday, and then I was fine for the rest of the day, and then here comes Saturday night, and then it pops in my mind again, and it's just thoughts that are just playing in my head and scenarios, and that in turn, then that started making me distant, or have a little snappy little attitude and want to be petty. And I'm like, that's not me anymore. That's not how I want people to treat me. So Audrey, you really need to check yourself. And even that night, that morning, God dealt with me and was just you need to get this off your chest. You need to pray about it. And so I got my notebook. I walked in the kitchen, because that was even the first thing that was on my mind when I woke up. So that's how I know it was really heavy on my spirit. And I was just God had told me before, last year, that I made a video about it, I think, and was just before you can even try to come in my presence, before you can even try to start to pray, before you can even start to tell me what you need, or just talk to me, you gonna have to deal with that. Because, and it's even crazier, oh my gosh, I just remember, it's even crazier that morning when I have my routine on Sundays, because our church isn't open. So I watch my church service at 10:45, and I watch another service at 10, and then another later on that night. And I was scrolling through, and about this time, it's 10 o'clock, so I put it on my TV on YouTube, and I'm listening, but it's I wasn't connected. And then that's when I had that thought, no, before you try to come into God's presence, you really need to get it together. And as I'm thinking that, as I'm scrolling that, you don't need to be thinking this way, girl, get out of that. No, we not allowing that to take over us any longer. I see a post that one of my friends shared, and it was saying the same exact thing. You got to deal with your emotions. You got to deal with anything that you may have against somebody else before you can be out here trying to pray for other people, or be a part of a praise and worship team, before you can call yourself before you can start all the shouting and the praising. You got to deal with whatever it is on your heart that you have against somebody else, because if not, God's gonna deal with you. And he really was, because he was speaking to me in a way now you're wrong. You don't have to be thinking that way of him. You don't have to be thinking that way of this person. You don't have to worry about those things, because haven't I shown you, and haven't I been showing this person the truth, and haven't I've been good to you? Haven't I been faithful? Didn't I answer your prayers? So get yourself together and don't allow yourself to go get that deep any longer. And so that's when I decided, you know what, I just want to write it all out. Because sometimes that just is very helpful for me, and it's been that way for a long time. So I wrote it out, and I think it ended up being like 4.5 4.5 pages. And I mean, to the point where my hand was hurting so bad. It's crazy how we really don't even be using pen and paper anymore, but that's besides the point. But yeah, and so I was just like, let me write this out, and I did. And once I got that out, then the message that I heard that evening, and even during the church service, was kind of touching on some topics. And then even yesterday evening, I watched another service on Tuesday, and the devotionals from Sunday to today have been about praying for people who hurt you, praying for people who may not even be sorry, praying for your enemies, praying for those who persecute you, and how that in turn just helps you be better, helps you to mature. And one of the scriptures that was today in the devotional was Matthew 5:44 in the New Living Translation. It says, "But I say, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you." And it's so true. Like, there's been times where I've held grudges against people, and just was just like allowing those type of things to just control my mind, and then having to realize, if you're holding on to all that bitterness, if you're holding on to the past, or can you really say that you're changing? Can you really say that you're maturing if the mention of somebody's name just gets under your skin? You know, like if the mention of anybody associated with that person just gets under your skin. And I was just like, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to be bound by past trauma experiences. And in Sunday, Jerry Flowers, which I always mention in my videos, he's with Redefine TV, and he has a series right now talking about discernment. And a lot of times we think that he said something like, a lot of times we think we have trust issues, but it's really a discernment issue. So you're expecting things of people, or expecting certain opportunities to go the way you want them to, when in turn God is like, no. And how can I, if I get, like I say all the time, how can I want to, share my testimonies or share what I'm going through or try to encourage somebody else if I'm not dealing with the things that truly bother me, and trying to figure out the root of it? Because it's not just that particular person. And what he said on Sunday really changed my mind. And he said that exposure to trauma causes trust issues that we as people project onto other people, or that may not even have bad intentions toward us, or even thinking about doing anything wrong, but or we don't go after stuff because of rejection before. And for me, the exposure to trauma, the exposure to trust issues, the exposures to things that have that could have like thwarted my trust of other individuals, and me also thinking that loving somebody harder, or being with somebody that I know is not good for me, and then being upset that they end up showing me their true character, has caused me to be a person who does really have trust issues. And I've had trust issues with myself too, because I'm like, well, you made this decision before, like, so I basically feel as though sometimes I don't make the best decisions. I hope I'm making sense. But anyways, it was just like this thing where I can't allow the things that I've gone through in the past to control what I'm going through today. Because if God doesn't think about it anymore, if he's covered it, why do I need to keep on trying to throw the lid up? Why do I keep on trying to just stay there? And I know that it's hard, but like I said, even when you're in a relational context with somebody, or you're in a situation where this person may have hurt you and you're working through that, as I am now, don't even try to project those old thoughts and those old feelings onto them, because just as you're growing, maturing spiritually and physically, they are too. And if you allow all those crazy thoughts that just flood through your mind, if you allow all those scenarios that we make up in our heads to just come out and just like take residence in your heart, then it come out your mouth and your actions and your attitudes, that can mess up whatever it is that God is trying to do for you. That can hinder whatever it is that God is trying to bring your way. And so my weapon of choice, as I say all the time, is prayer. And to just continue to even if I don't, feel good about it and I don't want to, but just being obedient and doing it anyway and praying for that person. And then also being comfortable with being able to express yourself or communicate your feelings to the person that you may be in a relationship with, like I had to do, without it being accusatory, without it being like, you did this to me and this is why I'm this way and da 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 da. Instead, be like, hey, this is what's been on my heart, this is how I've been thinking. And then for him to be, or her to be, open and receptive as well. And then y'all just sit down and you have a conversation and you see where each other is coming from, and you understand that the being able to take control of your thoughts before reacting emotionally or out of your feelings truly does change the atmosphere, truly does change you, truly does show the person that you're growing and you're maturing and that you're real about it. And it also changes how you feel. And it allows you to, like they say, get that weight off your chest without it having to turn into an argument, without it having to turn into a bunch of whoop-de-woo. Like, it is like, it's a great feeling. And not being stuck in your feelings or being afraid to express yourself, even when in the beginning, whenever you would express yourself, there may have been times where you get into big arguments and then you just be like, what the heck? Like, it ain't even supposed to be like this. But me taking the time and being consistent with doing what I say that I'm doing, with learning when to talk, when to speak, when to listen, when to tame my tongue, how to frame your words and use and kind of like and use wisdom on knowing, is this a particular time? Maybe give this person time to cool out. Like, these are the principles and the ways that is helping me cultivate a better relationship, a mature relationship, and a mature friendship. And I'm just grateful for that. And just knowing that when you pray and you ask God to help you in a situation, oftentimes he's going to put you in that situation to be able to see, or to be able to teach you the ways necessary to handle it, so that in the future you can handle it his way, or handle it the godly way, or the Christian way, or the more mature way. Put it like that. And he really did. And also, he listens and he understands. So he's been flooding my mind, flooding my time, flooding my reading in my daily activities with his word, to back up or to encourage me to keep doing what I know needs to be done, because his way is the best way to do it, not my way, not being in my feelings and then being petty or being attitudinal or being passive aggressive or being nitpicky and like just looking at this person, like all of a sudden your whole emotional just being changes, and then they're like, what's wrong with you? Nothing. And then just speaking from a hurt place. I don't want that to be me no more. So that's why I said when I woke up on Sunday, I was like, no ma'am. Like, I'm not waking up and the first thing on my mind is this person. I'm not waking up and the first thing on my mind is what's on such and such's phone or what this person is doing. No, I don't have to allow myself to go there. And I encourage y'all to, when you have those feelings of just like, you just want to be petty back, or you just want to clap back, like, or you just want to think the worst of people, like, get out of that, because that's allowing people to have control over you. That's allowing somebody who could possibly not even be thinking twice about you or not caring, just have some type of like emotional control and hold over you. And I don't have time for that. And I just am here today to thank God that He brought me out of that little space. And the more time, like I said, the more time that I spend like really trying to understand God's way and really trying to mature in my emotions, because like I said all the time, I am still a very emotional person, but I learned that there's a difference between having emotions that are rightfully so your choice to have or your right to have, but not staying in that place. Like finding ways to get out of that. Like I said, with writing, with prayer, with reading, with singing songs, just to change your atmosphere, to change your mind, and to remind yourself that God's got it, and He's gonna handle it. And getting in His way, or not allowing Him to handle your enemies or handle people who have done you wrong or whatever, the person that cut you off in traffic, the person that stepped on your shoe, the person that looked at you the wrong way, the person that didn't say thank you at the store, or like whatever, anything. Like the more you allow Him to handle that, and you take a step back and say, you know what, it's not even worth it, or you know what, I'm not giving my energy, like the better off you'll be. And I really had an emotional time Saturday night and Sunday, and like it was just like all those thoughts and all those how could you start just flooding my brain, and I was just like I'm not doing that. So that was one, just to pray for your enemies, and the more that you pray for them, the more that you ask God to just help you forgive, the better off you'll be, and He's going to handle them for you. And that leads me to my second one, was to forgive and stop holding on to grudges, like I said before, because that means that people have control over you. And again, like I said, mentioning the person's name, having to be around people who are difficult to love, like family members and friends who are just hell-bent, and I'm sorry if that's offensive to anybody, but anybody who's just hell-bent on misunderstanding you, or anybody who's just committed to just misunderstanding you, and you just be like, I don't get it. Like, why are they this way? You have to know it's not for you to break down and analyze why. You don't have to know why. All you can do is be mature. All you can do is be prayerful for them. All you can do is try to strive to continue to do your best by striving to be at peace with them, and not being and learning how to control your tongue, because a soft answer turns away wrath, and you don't want to ignite the flame or ignite the fire, because then that means they got you. That means that they are able to push your buttons. That means that they know how to get under your skin. That's giving away your control. You don't want people to have that much power over you. I don't want nobody to have that much power over me any longer. So you got to learn when to just be like, whoop, zip it. Like we tell the kids, zip it, lock it and throw it away. And pray about it and ask God to give you the words to say that will express how you're feeling, but in a way where they can't do nothing but respect you. You know what I'm saying? In a way where they ain't gonna be like, that's not gonna turn up the situation, not gonna ignite the flame, not gonna cause a huge argument. And also, if they don't get it still after you express yourself, then that's their choice. But you keep doing you. You keep doing you, and you keep keeping the peace. The peace. Seriously. Don't allow yourself to harbor bitterness or resentment, because again, that hinders our maturity and the blessings that God is wanting to give us, or help us to be a blessing to somebody else. And also, last night, in that same video that I watched about loving your enemies and, not holding the grudges and not allowing people to have that control over you, which I never even thought of it this way, but listen to this. It says to not mock or rejoice in your enemy's trouble, because then God will turn away from them and and look to you and not be pleased by you. So like that means like with my situation or any situation, when people do you wrong and they try to be like they got one up on you, or like yeah, so I did this and I did that, and can't nobody say nothing to me, and you just like, I ain't even never did anything to nobody. I ain't talked about nobody. I ain't thought about this person, and they just so happy. They just gloating in the fact like that they won, and then all of a sudden God turns that thing around, and what they thought they had, what they thought they got a hold of is gone, and now they back looking stupid, back looking silly, took a big huge L, and the whole time you could have exposed them, you could have talked bad about them, you could have just blasted their information, you could have pulled up, you could have fought, you could have just engaged in the silliness of the circus, right, with the clowns. But you choose to take the higher road. You choose to do what God tells you to do and remain calm and be still and fight. And when he does, if you're sitting there like, ha, yeah, that's what she get, yeah, that's what he get, that's what they get, ha, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not pleasing to God. And I can be honest, which I hope y'all can be honest too. Like, we do that, and sometimes we just do it automatically. Like, well, that's what they get. That's what they deserve. Cause you shouldn't did it. And like God had to really check me and be like, and I was like, ooh. And the pastor also said, like, when you do that, that's why when you like kind of like mock or rejoice when your enemy is getting dealt with by God, you don't see the full manifestation of what God is how he, or you don't see the full manifestation of how God's gonna deal with them, because when he sees you over here laughing and rejoicing and whatever they got going on and whatever they going through, then he's like, nah, pause that, let me deal with you because you're wrong. And that really did something to me. And now, and it's like, now I really have to be cognizant of, like, I don't want to celebrate in nobody's trouble, because if that was me, I wouldn't want nobody to celebrate in my trouble or whatever I got going on. So again, my point is to let God truly, truly deal with those who are trying to come at you, come for you, talk about you, shade you, whatever, misunderstand you, and don't got no reason not to like you. And a lot of times, like I just seen that post, and he even mentioned it last night, some people don't like you because your spirit interrupts their demons, but that ain't none of your control. And we can only worry about what we can control and let God handle the rest of it, right? So, but yeah, y'all, that did something to me. Like, that was a read. Like, don't be over here like, haha, that's what she get, and then thank God ain't gonna deal with me. That's wrong. So I just gotta be more mindful, and I pray that y'all be more mindful of it too. Like, because I mean, I get it. Like I said, let God fight and be still, which like it says in Exodus 14:14, remain calm and let God fight for you. Be still. And then I also got this scripture, Proverbs 16:7. When people's lives please the Lord, even their enemies are at peace with them. And that is truly, truly real, because I know I made a video on it about, people, about, my breakup and all that stuff that happened last year. And then people who I, was super cool with, close to, have helped, how they flipped the script and turned on me after the breakup, and like made it seem like I was this horrible person and was talking about me and just egging stuff on and just instigating situations when they have no reason to, because I've never done them wrong, and they just flat out don't like me, like I said, out of whatever reason. But again, that's not under my concern anymore. Shout out to Janae Echo. But what is so crazy is that I truly, like I said, I'm a witness to that. Like, when when I chose and still choose not to go lurk, not to go clap back, not to go searching people's friends and seeing if they're saying anything, not truly caring about what anybody else got to say about what Audrey Danielle Bonifant boy got going on, and just being like, I'm gonna worry about those who love me and worry about those who like me, and the other ones pray for them and be like, Lord help them, and then keep it pushing. There's gonna come a time, as it often does, where again God's gonna deal with them, and He's going to show them like, she's good. She ain't worried about you, sis. She ain't worried about you, bruh. So why are you even doing all that? And then they have no choice. Well, even though we do have a choice, but it's like at some point they're just gonna stop. Nothing that they do is gonna phase you. Nothing they're gonna do is gonna harm you. Nothing they're gonna do is gonna touch you, because you're so caught up in the right things while they're so caught up in the wrong things. And God's gonna deal with them. And a lot of people will say karma. I say the power of prayer, and God truly loving His children and not letting the people who choose to cause mess and be foolish come at them or harm them or touch them in any way. And I just advise people just not to clap back, not to give in to the mess. Because like I said, some people are truly out here, don't even know why they don't like you. Don't even know why your spirit disrupts them or bothers them so much. But keep on shining. Don't dim. Don't try to fit in. Don't try to, people please or kiss their butts to make them like you. Because when push comes to shove, as I had to learn and have learned this lesson over and over in my life, that it don't matter, because when push comes to shove, them people is gonna pick a side, and 9 times out of 10 that side is not gonna be with you. So do you, be you, and continue to love on those who love you. Give your time and attention to those who love you, and don't worry about the rest. And let God handle them, because He will. Because He don't play about His kids. And lastly, the last point has struck me good. Whew. Stop monitoring stuff and people that you place in God's hands. That's the hard one, y'all. It's the hard one. But I gotta do it. We gotta do it. If we trust Him, we have to learn to leave stuff alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Seriously. If we say we trust Him, we got to let God be God. And stop being like, Lord, is it ready yet? Is it time yet? Did you do it yet? When is it going to happen? No. We have to be able to rest in His faithfulness, rest in His comfort, rest in the strength that He gives us to go day by day, and to trust that because He's done it before, He's going to do it again. Trust is a must. And I know I say it all the time. But the more the time that you spend in God's presence, the stronger your trust for Him will be. The more you read His Word, the more you will see how often He has come through for His children, even if they had to wait a long periodically time. Shout out to that girl from that meme. But seriously, even if you had to wait that long, trust Him. You say you surrender. That means let go. Quit holding on to it. Because the more you try to hold on to it, the longer you're going to hinder the process. And in the waiting and in the process, it's where all the character development happens. And if you've seen God to be faithful before, He's going to do it again. So you might as well just kick back and be obedient. and let it come when it comes. Because God is in control, not you. And just continue to walk by faith. Don't keep focusing on what you can see or what you can touch or what people say or what people do or don't say or your circumstances, your money, what's in the account. None of that. He's going to make a way. But the more time we spend on focusing on stuff that we can't control and when is this gonna happen? I need this. I don't have. How is this gonna happen? Whatever. The less we'll be able to see all of the things that He's putting into place and He's putting in order over here to give you the provision, to give you what you need. And I'm saying it to myself because I had a little small, little meltdown today. But God. But God. That's why it's important to be consistent in your relationship with Him and be consistent in maturing spiritually, because one little thing can throw you off track that fast. And then you're back to worrying. You're back to anxiety. You're back to thoughts that when you sit idle, that the enemy or that you create in your head that is just creeping in and making you want to believe that it's really going to happen in these scenarios and these thoughts that just turn you down. That's not God. That's not God. It's important to surround yourself with people who you trust, who you know will give you sound advice, who will also remind you to take it to the Lord. Not, bro, you need to go smoke real quick, bro. I mean, my hands is tied. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. Can't help you. You don't need to be around people like that. Like people used to say all the time, like, what you about to do? Like, that's rough. I mean, like, no, you don't need to be around people like that. You need to surround yourself when you're going through, or even when you just having a bad day. People's going to remind you to have you prayed. People's going to remind you that He's done it before, Audrey. He's going to do it again. People who's going to pray for you right then and there. People ain't going to be like, oh, I'll get back with you later. People who's going to truly help uplift you and not just give you bad advice or tell you to do things that turn your heart or your mind away from the way that God has allowed you to go this long, or turn you back to behaviors and mindsets that will just keep you stuck. Like, you want to surround yourself with people, and I'm so grateful for the people that God surrounds me when I do have those moments. Like I said, they are very real. Life is real, and it can be hard, but when you surround yourself with people who will just hold you up, that God has blessed you to have in your life that will hold you up, like, you have to really, really learn not to take those type of people for granted, because you need those people around you that will challenge you and not just aid in your mess. Like, you and people who will just tell you to do the wrong things or advise you to do the wrong things. You need people who's going to hold you up. And you also need to pray for them too, because a lot of times, a lot of people feel like when they pour into others, they don't have those to pour into you, pour into themselves. But it's important to do that. It's important to pray. It's important to not focus on what you see and just continue to walk by faith and not by sight, and not to spend so much idle time doing things that will have you just stuck in your mind and just overwhelmed with anxiety. And to stay consistent with all of this, period. Because this is the way that you learn to trust God, to be able to be like, to have that peace that surpasses all understanding, to be able to be in the midst of a storm and sleep. To be able to be in the midst of a storm and stand. To be able to be in the midst of a storm and not worry, because you know without a shadow of a doubt that God's going to come through in some type of way. And even if it's not the way that you think it should happen, whichever way, He's going to come through. And And also, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, that is one of the struggles that I've dealt with for so long, because like I said before, I've always felt like because I'm the oldest, or because I'm 33, I'm supposed to have it all together. I'm supposed to not always have to call on mama or call on daddy or call on a friend to help me when I need something. But you know what? Those are things that I thought. Those are things that I made up in my mind because of what the world deems, or what a successful or a grown up or an adult is supposed to be, or what my friends seem to go through on social media, and how they just got it, or they don't seem to need help. But again, we don't know people's backgrounds. We only know their highlight reel. And also, I shouldn't look at it as, oh well, I should have it all together. Nobody has it all together. People 50, 60, 80, 90 still may not have it all together. But I'm grateful that I don't have to struggle. I'm grateful that God has blessed me with people who I can call on to help in the time of need. And I don't have to be overwhelmed. And I'm grateful for the people who offer it even without me asking. Like, those are the things that I have to focus my mind on, rather than thinking the worst of situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, like I said, it's a process. It really is. But these are some of the things that I struggle with the most, in asking for help is. But even still, God is good. And then also just let loose and enjoy life, because it's so short. And we never know. From the next second to the next minute to the next hour, week, day, or month, what our lives could be like, or where they could go to, So just enjoy life and do stuff that you love, and don't be so caught up in, oh my gosh, like how I've had a couple of times I had to check myself, like, I can still have fun. Like, even though I'm following Christ, like, he wants me to have fun. Like, why would he created all of this for me to just sit back and just be stuck up and prudent, and oh no, you listen to rap, oh no, you listen to that, you watch that. Like, I feel as though as long as I'm not allowing those things to take me off or distract me from him, or be so overly consumed with it that I forget him or start to mimic behaviors, like, I'm good. Like, allow yourself to have fun. Allow yourself to be free. Don't just be stuck in the house on the couch all the time. Get out, even if it's just going outside on the porch or on the balcony or on the patio or walking up and down the street. Just enjoy it safely, because COVID's still out there. But yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. Laugh. Don't be so caught up in, I need to do this and I need to do this, because busyness doesn't take away the stuff that you're going through. Busyness doesn't take stuff off your mind. It just adds more to it. Find some new hobbies. Me, I know that I need to be going walking. I need to go to somebody's gym, because those are good outlets. Writing, singing, dancing, things that don't lead to sin, period. And if watching certain things on TV or listening to certain songs, you may think you're not ready for it yet, or like it could trigger you to go back to a certain mind state or a certain time in your life that was bad, then listen to worship music. That's really all the music that I really listen to, even though I love me some 90s R&B and stuff and some of the new stuff. But whatever brings joy to you, I know that God will want you to do it. As long as it's not causing you to be consumed with negative or demonic things, I'm pretty sure that God wants his children to have fun. I mean, he created comedians. So he has a sense of humor. Like, lighten up sometimes. Don't be so serious all the time. But yeah, so yeah, in a nutshell, I'm about to get off here. Been on here for 40 minutes. But in a nutshell, trust that um, God sees all and He knows your heart and He knows your intentions behind things. Um, don't be so hard on yourself or on others, and realize that it's a process. Take it one day at a time. There's no rush. Jerry Flower said last week that if it normally when it's rushing and like trying to get it all done, it's not God. God takes His time. God wants you to take your time. So you won't miss nothing, and you won't miss Him. Remember to and to trust God's timing as well. And remember to forgive often. Remember to pray often. Remember to rest and walk out this thing called life by faith. And know that you're not the only one going through stuff. Know that there's somebody who wishes they even had what you have, that you see, that you deem insignificant or not all that. And to just to continue just know that these things are temporary and it won't always be this way, and greater is coming, and God works all things together for our good, even if it don't feel like it or look like it right now. I'm telling you it's the truth, and He won't let you down. He's able. Love y'all. Bye.